Good day, everyone. Today, I want to share with you a powerful truth that can change how the world sees you, how people react to you, and most importantly, how you feel about yourself. This lesson is inspired by Shi Heng Yi, a respected Shaolin master known for his deep wisdom on human behavior, mindset, and discipline. There are moments in life when we feel unnoticed, misunderstood, or even disrespected by others. We ask ourselves, why are people treating me this way? The answer often lies not in them, but in us. Shi Heng Yi teaches that there is one powerful thing you can do, one internal decision, one shift in attitude, that can immediately change how people respond to you. Today's topic is simple, but life-changing. Do this once and watch how people treat you differently. One of the most important teachings from Shi Heng Yi that resonates deeply is the idea that the energy you carry within yourself speaks louder than anything you could ever say. Before you even open your mouth, people have already formed an impression of you, based purely on how you carry yourself, how you walk, how you breathe, and even the emotional state you bring into the space. Owning your inner energy means taking full responsibility for the atmosphere you create around yourself. Think about it. Have you ever been in a room where someone walked in and instantly everyone turned to look? It wasn't necessarily because they were loud or flashy. It was their presence. Their grounded, calm, and confident energy filled the room and commanded silent attention. Before entering any room, pause for a brief moment. Take a deep breath, center yourself, remind yourself that you belong here. Relax your shoulders, unclench your jaw, straighten your back, lift your chin slightly, not with arrogance but with quiet assurance. Walk in slowly, purposefully, like you have nothing to prove but everything to offer. Shi Heng Yi often uses the metaphor of water. Water doesn't force its way through. It flows naturally, with strength and flexibility. In the same way, when you own your energy, you don't have to push for attention or recognition. It will flow towards you. Furthermore, your inner dialogue plays a crucial role here. If you're constantly telling yourself, "I hope people like me," or "I'm afraid of how they'll react," that fearful energy leaks into your body language. People can sense it even if you try to hide it. On the flip side, if you silently affirm, "I bring value," or "I am at peace with myself," people will pick up on that too. This energy ownership also applies when facing authority figures, large groups, or unfamiliar environments. The key is to act from your internal center, not external approval. People unconsciously gravitate towards individuals who appear balanced and self-assured. They see you as someone who can handle pressure, someone who remains steady in uncertainty. They'll listen to you more attentively, respect your space more naturally, and value your opinions without you begging for it. Mastering your internal energy before stepping into any interaction is like setting the tone for how people will engage with you. It's not about controlling others, but about controlling yourself so powerfully that others have no choice but to adjust their behavior in response. This is the unspoken language of energy, and once you learn to own it, you'll begin to see how dramatically people's treatment of you changes. One of the most overlooked but life-changing practices you can adopt is the art of setting your mental intention before engaging with people. This simple internal exercise, recommended by Shi Heng Yi, can dramatically alter the energy you project and the way people respond to you. Too often, we walk into conversations or situations without any mental preparation. We let circumstances dictate our mood. We allow other people's attitudes, the environment, or even our own insecurities to control how we show up. But here's the truth. Every interaction is a small stage where your mindset becomes your performance. If you step onto that stage with uncertainty, fear, or negativity, that's exactly what others will feel from you. Even if you try to cover it up with fake smiles or forced words, setting your mental intention means pausing for just a few seconds before engaging. It could be before a meeting, a social gathering, a difficult conversation, or even a simple hello with a stranger. Take that short moment to ask yourself, what energy do I want to bring into this interaction? Do you want to bring calm, positivity, leadership, warmth, confidence, clarity? This conscious act shifts you from being reactive to being proactive. Instead of walking into a room wondering, I hope people like me, you walk in thinking, I'm here to offer something valuable. Instead of going into a meeting thinking, I hope I don't mess up, you tell yourself, I'm here to contribute with confidence and clarity. That internal framing changes everything. Shi Heng Yi often reminds us that our intention is like an invisible force field. It's an energy blueprint that people pick up on, whether they realize it or not. Humans are wired to read subtle cues. Your tone, your eye contact, your pacing, your micro-expressions. When your intention is clear and positive, people naturally feel more at ease, more engaged, and more open to listening to you. This also applies when dealing with difficult people. If you approach them with defensive energy, the situation will escalate. But if your intention is set on maintaining peace and not letting negativity affect you, you'll notice that even difficult people start to shift their tone around you. Setting your mental intention also helps protect your emotional state. It keeps you grounded, centered, and focused on your desired outcome. When things go off track in a conversation, your clear intention acts like an internal compass, guiding you back to how you want to show up. It takes practice, yes, but the impact is profound. Over time, you'll notice people responding to you with more openness, respect, and trust, because they can feel that you're present, intentional, and fully engaged. This practice is not about manipulating others. It's about aligning yourself with the kind of energy you want to spread, and inevitably, what you give out, you get back. In today's fast-paced, noise-filled world, silence is often seen as something awkward, uncomfortable, or even threatening. People rush to fill every gap in a conversation with words, jokes, nervous laughter, or small talk. But Shi Heng Yi teaches something profoundly different. Silence is a sign of strength, not weakness. Stillness is a symbol of control, not discomfort. And when you become comfortable with both, you'll notice a dramatic shift in how people treat you. Think about the most confident people you've ever observed. They're not the ones desperately trying to fill the air with chatter. They are the ones who sit back, listen deeply, process carefully, and speak only when necessary. Their pauses before speaking seem deliberate, thoughtful, and powerful. Their silence feels like presence, not absence. Being comfortable with silence shows that you are not emotionally needy. You don't require constant validation from others to feel worthy or secure. You're not worried about impressing people with fast answers or jokes. Instead, you give yourself space to think, and more importantly, you give others space to reveal themselves. When you pause before responding, it shows emotional intelligence. It gives the impression that you are weighing your words carefully. People begin to see you as someone who speaks with intention, not impulsiveness. This, in turn, builds trust. Your words start to carry more weight because they're not scattered or reactionary. They're measured and deliberate. Shi Heng Yi often draws lessons from nature to explain this concept. Take a tree, for example. It doesn't move around seeking attention. It stands still, rooted and strong, and yet its presence is undeniable. People naturally gravitate towards it for shade, comfort, and shelter. The same applies to you. The more emotionally and mentally still you can be, the more others will feel drawn to your calm energy. Silence also gives you observational power. In those quiet moments when others rush to speak, you get to notice things they don't, micro-expressions, shifts in tone, underlying emotions. You become more attuned to what's really being said beneath the surface of words. This gives you a strategic advantage in conversations, negotiations, and even conflicts. Another important aspect of becoming comfortable with silence is that it allows others to reveal more about themselves. People often talk more when they feel silence, sometimes giving away useful information, sometimes exposing their true feelings, fears, or intentions. By simply holding space and letting the silence linger, you invite authenticity from others. Moreover, stillness isn't just external, it's internal too. It means training your mind not to overreact, not to jump into every emotional trigger, and not to let restlessness control you. Shi Heng Yi often incorporates meditation and breath control exercises in his teachings for this very reason. A still mind reflects a disciplined spirit. When you sit comfortably with silence, you are telling the world, I am not desperate for your attention. I am content within myself. And believe it or not, that's exactly the kind of energy that commands more attention, more respect, and more curiosity from others. People start looking at you differently. They pause when you speak. They wait for your input. They interpret your silence as wisdom, even when you've said nothing at all. Your ability to remain still in a world that constantly moves becomes your unique power, one that makes people treat you with new levels of attention and seriousness. In a society where everyone seems to be talking, whether it's in person, on social media, or through constant notifications, the real power today lies in doing the opposite, speaking less and observing more. This principle is at the heart of many of Shi Heng Yi's teachings. He often emphasizes that true understanding, influence, and personal power don't come from how much you talk, but from how deeply you observe and how mindfully you speak when you finally do. When you walk into a room or enter a conversation, most people are busy waiting for their turn to speak. They listen just enough to reply, not to understand. They are formulating their next sentence while the other person is still talking. This creates shallow connections, misunderstandings, and missed opportunities for real influence. But when you commit to observing more and speaking less, everything changes. First, observation helps you read people more accurately. By watching their body language, facial expressions, tone of voice, and choice of words, you can gather valuable information about their emotional state, their level of confidence, their true intentions, and even their insecurities. People reveal more about themselves non-verbally than they ever will with words. This gives you an advantage in understanding how to approach them, when to speak, what tone to use, and even what topics to bring up or avoid. Shi Heng Yi often explains that silence combined with observation is a form of active listening. It's not passive. It requires mental engagement. You're fully present, tuned in to the details that others overlook. This kind of attention makes people feel seen and understood, which is incredibly rare in today's distracted world. As a result, they start to respect you more, trust you more, and look to you for guidance, even if you've barely spoken. Secondly, when you do choose to speak after a period of observation, your words carry more weight. People lean in when you talk because they've noticed that you're not someone who speaks without reason. You're selective. You speak only when you have something valuable to say. This makes your voice more impactful. It creates the impression of wisdom and thoughtfulness, regardless of your age or experience. Another powerful result of observing more is that it helps you avoid unnecessary conflicts. Many disagreements happen because people respond emotionally without fully understanding the situation. But when you've observed carefully, you gain perspective. You see where the other person is coming from. You notice the emotions beneath their words. This allows you to respond with empathy, intelligence, or strategic silence, depending on what the situation demands. Shi Heng Yi also teaches that being observant makes you a lifelong learner. Every interaction becomes a lesson. You begin to notice patterns in human behavior. You see how certain types of people act under stress, how they seek approval, how they react when challenged. Over time, this emotional intelligence becomes one of your greatest social tools, and perhaps most importantly, by speaking less and observing more, you conserve your energy, you don't waste words, you don't overexpose your thoughts or feelings unnecessarily. You maintain a level of mystery about yourself, which makes people more curious about you. They'll start to wonder what you're thinking, what your opinions are, and what insights you hold back. This quiet presence often leads others to initiate conversations with you. They'll ask for your opinion, they'll seek your guidance, they'll value your input more simply because you've built a reputation, without even trying, for being someone who speaks with purpose and listens with focus. Shi Heng Yi's wisdom in this area reminds us that sometimes the most commanding voice in the room is the one that speaks the least but listens the most. One of the most powerful things that sets emotionally strong individuals apart from the rest is their ability to control their reactions. This is a key teaching in Shi Heng Yi's philosophy and something that applies across all areas of life. Whether you're dealing with friends, family, colleagues, strangers, or even people who test your patience. In everyday life, people will push your buttons, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally. They might say something rude, ignore you, underestimate you, or behave in ways that trigger your anger, sadness, or frustration. The average person reacts immediately. Their emotions dictate their behavior. They snap back with angry words, they get defensive, or they sulk and withdraw. But what Shi Heng Yi teaches is this: the space between action and reaction is where your power lies. When you allow yourself that small, mindful pause between what happens to you and how you choose to respond, you take back control. Instead of being a slave to your emotions, you become the master of them. Imagine someone insults you in front of others. Your immediate impulse might be to lash out, argue, or prove yourself right. But when you operate from emotional discipline, you pause, you assess. You ask yourself, is this really worth my energy? Does reacting emotionally serve me right now? What kind of person do I want to be in this situation? That pause, those few seconds of internal stillness, can change the entire outcome of the interaction. Shi Heng Yi often explains that your emotional reactions are like ripples on a pond. If your mind is already turbulent, any small stone will create waves of chaos. But if your mind is calm and controlled, even large provocations barely disturb the surface. This ability to remain emotionally steady in challenging moments is one of the clearest signs of inner strength. Also, controlling your reactions doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending you're unaffected. It means acknowledging how you feel, but choosing not to let those feelings control your behavior. You remain aware of your emotional state without becoming a prisoner to it. This skill has a powerful effect on how others treat you. When people see that you don't get easily rattled, they start to approach you with more care and caution. They know that you won't engage in petty arguments or emotional drama. Over time, you gain a reputation for being composed under pressure, wise in your responses, and emotionally balanced. People will feel more comfortable confiding in you, seeking your opinion, or trusting your leadership, simply because you've shown that you won't overreact or let emotions cloud your judgment. Mastering emotional discipline also creates a psychological advantage in difficult situations. When others lose their cool and you remain calm, you automatically hold the upper hand. In arguments, debates, negotiations, and even in casual conversations, the person who stays calm holds more influence and power. Why? because emotional stability is rare, and people instinctively respect those who display it. Shi Heng Yi also emphasizes that emotional control is not something you develop overnight. It requires daily practice, awareness, and intentionality. Simple mindfulness exercises, breath control techniques, and learning to observe your emotional triggers can help strengthen this muscle over time. In a world where most people react without thinking, your ability to pause, evaluate, and choose your response will make you stand out. It will earn you respect, admiration, and even authority, without you ever needing to demand it. This silent strength is something people notice immediately, even if they can't explain why. They sense your inner control, and that alone will change how they treat you from that point forward. There's a huge, often misunderstood difference between confidence and arrogance. While both may appear similar on the surface to the untrained eye, the energy they project is entirely different, and people respond to them in opposite ways. Shi Heng Yi's philosophy teaches us that true, lasting influence comes from quiet confidence, not from loud arrogance. Arrogance is insecure. It's loud, boastful, and desperate for attention. It's the voice in the room that speaks over others just to feel important. It's the person who feels the need to highlight their achievements constantly because they fear going unnoticed. Arrogance creates distance. It pushes people away. It makes others feel small so that the arrogant person can feel big. This kind of energy repels trust, weakens relationships, and eventually leaves the person feeling isolated and disrespected, even if they don't realize it. On the other hand, quiet confidence comes from a place of inner peace and self-assurance. It doesn't need external validation to feel secure. People with quiet confidence don't need to shout about their worth. They show it through their actions, body language, and the calm tone of their voice. They don't need to win every argument or be the center of attention to feel significant. Their presence, even in silence, makes people notice them. Shi Heng Yi often speaks about the importance of letting your actions speak louder than your words. He reminds us that true confidence is built through discipline, consistency, and inner reflection, not through showing off or belittling others. When you walk into a room with quiet confidence, you carry an energy that says, "I know who I am. I don't need to prove it to anyone." This energy is magnetic. People are naturally drawn to individuals who are secure in themselves, but humble in their demeanor. They listen more attentively to what you say because they sense that when you speak, it's worth listening to. They observe your reactions and behaviors more closely, looking to learn from your calm and collected approach. Carrying yourself with quiet confidence also means being unshaken by external judgments. Whether people praise you or criticize you, you remain steady. Whether you're surrounded by supporters or skeptics, your self-belief doesn't waver. This level of emotional independence makes others respect you more because they realize you are unaffected by drama, gossip, or the emotional chaos that affects most people. It's in the way you stand tall without aggression, speak with clarity without shouting, and listen attentively without trying to dominate. It's in the way you handle both success and failure with grace and composure. Another beautiful aspect of quiet confidence is that it creates space for others to shine. Confident people don't feel threatened by the success or strengths of others. Instead, they uplift those around them. This naturally earns them loyalty, admiration, and deeper relationships. Shi Heng Yi teaches that true leaders, whether in professional environments or in daily life, lead through this form of composed strength. They lead by example, they speak with purpose, they don't seek approval, but they earn it anyway. Developing this quiet confidence doesn't happen overnight. It's a lifelong practice that involves self-awareness, emotional control, and a clear understanding of your values and strengths. It requires learning to silence your ego and operate from a place of self-respect rather than self-importance. When you adopt this mindset and carry yourself with quiet confidence, people start treating you differently. They respect your boundaries, they value your input, they admire your emotional balance, they look to you as a source of stability in moments of uncertainty. This internal shift doesn't just change how others see you, it transforms how you see yourself. And that is where the real power begins. One of the most profound teachings from Shi Heng Yi is the idea that life reflects back to you the energy you project. In simple terms, you attract what you are. If you want others to treat you with kindness, respect, patience, and positivity, the first step is to embody those qualities yourself. Too often, people expect the world to treat them better without realizing that their own behavior, mindset, and emotional energy are sending out the exact opposite signals. Leading by example doesn't mean making grand public gestures to impress people. It starts with small, consistent actions. It's in the way you greet people. It's in the way you listen without interrupting. It's in your willingness to help others without expecting something in return. It's in how you handle frustration, how you speak about others when they're not present, and how you carry yourself even when no one is watching. Shi Heng Yi emphasizes that people mirror what they receive. If you're constantly negative, cynical, or impatient, people will eventually reflect that back to you. They'll become defensive, cold, or distant. On the other hand, if you radiate positivity, calm, and understanding, you'll start to notice others softening around you, opening up, and responding with the same energy. This principle applies not just in professional settings, but also in personal relationships. If you want more appreciation from your family, show them appreciation first. If you want your friends to support you more, be the friend who offers support first. If you want colleagues to treat you with professionalism and courtesy, make sure you model those behaviors in every interaction. Leading by example also means maintaining your standards even when others don't. There will be moments when people are rude, inconsiderate, or unfair to you. The easy choice is to react negatively, to match their bad behavior with your own. But Shi Heng Yi teaches that true discipline lies in sticking to your values regardless of how others act. By doing so, you set the tone for how people will eventually adjust their behavior around you. Consistency is key. People observe you over time. They notice if your words align with your actions. They watch how you treat people who can't do anything for you. They see how you behave under pressure, how you handle both success and failure, and how you treat those who disagree with you. This long-term consistency builds trust and credibility. Moreover, leading by example creates a ripple effect. Your behavior doesn't just influence how people treat you. It influences how they treat others. Your calm energy can diffuse tense situations. Your positive attitude can lift a group's mood. Your emotional discipline can prevent conflicts from escalating. You become a catalyst for positive change, often without even realizing it. Shi Heng Yi's teachings encourage us to take full ownership of the energy we bring into the world. This doesn't mean pretending to be perfect. It means striving to be aware of the emotional atmosphere we create and taking responsibility for how we contribute to every room we enter. Another important aspect of leading by example is self-awareness. Take time to reflect. Am I embodying the qualities I want from others? This simple question can reset your mindset before any interaction. It keeps you grounded and intentional in your behavior. By consistently leading with kindness, strength, empathy, and discipline, you create a silent influence that people respect, admire, and often follow. They will treat you with the same energy you consistently show them, because you've shown them, by example, how to treat you. So, as you move forward from today, remember this: the way people treat you is often a reflection of how you treat yourself and the energy you bring into the world. Change doesn't require loud announcements or dramatic actions. It starts with small, intentional shift, zoning your energy, setting your mental intention, embracing silence, observing more, controlling your reactions, carrying quiet confidence, and leading by example. You don't need to force anyone to treat you better. Instead, become the kind of person who naturally commands respect, kindness, and positive attention. Let your energy speak before your words do. Let your discipline guide your behavior. And most importantly, be so centered in yourself that others have no choice but to adjust how they engage with you. Do this once, just once, and watch how people start treating you differently. Thank you.